Okay, our last presentation is going to be from Foreman Program Construction Managers. We have Phil Foreman and Jeff Angstad.
Good evening. This is Jeff Angstad, he's Vice President of Operations, and my name is Philip Foreman. What we'd like to talk about is obviously construction management. Our construction management company is one of 7 companies that make up the Foreman Group. The other ones are a 60-year-old architectural engineering firm, construction claims service company that provides construction claims and expert witness to our clients, HVAC commissioning company, roofing design company, a RAPSAP process, which is an acronym for reviewing and proofing of specifications and plans. Jeff's going to talk about that. That's a guaranteed process to help reduce change orders. And then lastly, there's more to the Foreman Group than just making money. That is our Foreman Foundation, a 20-year-old nonprofit organization to fund melanoma research. A friend of mine, John Bruner, who played football at Penn State, died at the age of 27 from melanoma, and we have donated over $1 million to Christian medicine. Our goals tonight is I'm going to talk about something different, at least what we think is different than what the other firms have talked about this evening. What we believe is the best way to do your project. Your architect has a very difficult task. It's going to be a very difficult project. It's very large, partial renovation, and we think our approach is the best for the taxpayers. We believe it's going to guarantee the lowest possible construction costs, increase the quality of workmanship, increase the chances of opening the building on time, and increase the chances of utilizing local tax-paying contractors. We're going to try to prove that to you. Jeff's going to talk about our pre-construction services in terms of maximizing your savings during pre-construction. He's going to talk about our construction services and why we think we have the project named correctly. Then lastly, I'm going to close and talk briefly about at least what we believe separates us from the other firms we're interviewing. Go ahead. First, in terms of lowest possible costs, this is a project in Ridley School District where we bid the project 2 ways. Number one, we believe in the true multiple prime approach. Essentially, we're eliminating the general contractor as the middleman and let the previous subcontractors bid directly to the school district, and then we manage the project with our full-time site manager and project manager. We believe it's very economical because we are eliminating general contractor site manager, his project manager, his overhead and profit. And we use that money, you would use that money to pay for our fee. At Ridley School District, we looked at 31 separate prime contractors versus 27 prime contractors. We received those bids the same day, same moment, read those bids aloud in public at Ridley School District. As you can see, the more prime contractors saved the school district $1.3 million. These are actually bid results read in public at Ridley School District. Next slide. The next project, and then that previous slide.
Can we back up a minute?
Yes.
When you go about that list of contractors, could you have several different plumbing contractors and several different electrical contractors?
Yeah,
what you're doing?
what we do is maximize the savings for the school district and minimize the risk. We make sure that the school district and the architect agree with what we're trying to do. So all we're doing under this approach, after the school district, we eliminated the general contractor.
Okay, I understand that.
And the roofing people, just the previous roofing subcontractors bid directly to Ridley. And then on bid day, the low bidder knew who he was. And the paving, etc., landscaping, etc. So we had 31 primes versus 27 on that project, and 31 primes. The more prime contracts came in, $1.3 million less. It's not only the number of prime contracts, it's how the project is managed during construction. We take control of the project during construction. What happens is the architects and specification changes, and we, as your advocate, are responsible for the scheduling and coordination of the project, not the general contractor. So we get our next job based upon your recommendation. So we have to succeed for you. That may not be the case with general contractors. It's not to say general contractors are bad. It's just the way it works in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of great general contractors out there. So this particular project, that one, we were the architect, engineer, and construction manager. The next project, we were just the construction manager. We were hired very late during the bidding process at Consolidated. So they saw one of our presentations at PASBO. On this particular project, we had 12 contractors versus 1 separate prime contractors. Just a general contractor, and a couple of years ago you could use just a general contractor. We believe that's the worst way to go. On that particular same day, same moment, we read the bids in public. We saved the school district $300,000. These are actual bid results. The next project is in West Virginia. We weren't the architect, we weren't the CM. There was 1 general contractor, bid to 8 contractors, savings of $721,000. The more separate primes, the more savings. And again, it's not the number of prime contracts, it's who is running the job, and it would be us. There's a lot of construction managers that say they're using multiple prime and they have 12 separate primes, but the general contractor is still running the project. The last one is a project in Pittsburgh. They used the general contractor only, and they thought the project was going to cost 18 to 22 million, and they lost an opportunity to save about anywhere from $500,000 to $4 million. We're quite familiar with that project. This is your project. This is what we believe. On the left, you see Foreman Construction Management, cost of all bids, $45 million. Number 2, eliminating general contractor's overhead, profit, site manager, and project manager by using anywhere, 12 to 20 primes or 25 primes, whatever the architect and the school district believes saves the most money and minimizes the risk. We believe will at least save you 4%. So you have to ask yourself, what is the general contractor's overhead, profit, and site manager cost? So if you just think as a minimum 4%, that's going to save the school district $1.8 million. 0.04 times 45 million. So our cost is 45 million minus 1.8 million is $43,200,000. That's because you don't have a general contractor anymore, and we're running the project. For us to run the project for you is $877,450. So our project on the left, number 5, is $44,077,040. On the right-hand column is any other CM. And we try to prove that with previous projects, and I can give you a list of a lot of projects throughout Pennsylvania. Cost of all bids, $45 million. There's no savings because typically other CMs don't run the project the way we do. 0 savings. Any other CM's cost of all bids, $45 million. The pickup fee for any CM, $400,000, compared to our $877,000. Any other CM's project cost would be $45,400,000. Therefore, you're saving $1.3 million. These are estimates. We're making some assumptions, but we've proven it on a number of occasions in real life. Next, please. Also, because we eliminate the general contractor, we eliminate a problem called the shopping process, which Mark knows all about, sitting behind me. That's when the general contractor, after he knows he's the low bidder, because of the process set forth in Pennsylvania, he goes back and renegotiates everything with the subcontractors. That could take a number of months, depending upon how big the package is. Therefore, when they finally ordered the roofing, etc., all the contractors are rushed. So under our approach, when the low bid previous roofing subcontractor is now the prime, when he's low, he can automatically order the roofing, do the shop drawings for Mark Barnhart, and get moving with the project. So the rushing is eliminated. Doesn't solve all the problems with what we call the traditional approach, but it goes a long way in solving a lot of the problems with typical traditional construction. I'm sorry, I have a cold. Also, by eliminating the shopping process, you're increasing the chance of opening your building on time. We believe your project is extraordinarily tight in terms of time frame. By limiting that shopping process, which would take 2 to 3 months if they're ordering windows and going to window subcontractors and making them competitive, because that's savings for the general contractor. That takes so much time. Under our approach, the GC's gone, the window subcontractors, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them from this area are bidding directly to you. On bid day, they know that they're low bid, they can do the shop drawings, get them to mark, they can get the windows manufactured, get into the job site faster. And again, we've been doing this for 25 years. Next, please. Increased chances for local contractors, local tax-paying contractors on your project. Your project is going to be very big. If you do the traditional approach with other construction managers and do not utilize our approach, we believe you're going to have some very large contractors, maybe from Pittsburgh. And local tax-paying subcontractors may not know them, so they may give them a different price than other general contractors. So by limiting general contractors, letting the local tax-paying contractors bid directly to you, benefits them and you because they're going to give you the best price. Lastly, we don't have any contracts with subcontractors. 95% of all construction managers in the K-12 market are really general contractors. We're not general contractors. Our commitment is to the school district. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jeff.
Thank you. Okay, now, excuse me, that Phil went through our delivery method with the multiple prime approach. I'd like to go through what we feel is key portions of our pre-construction and construction services. First off, we applaud the district for hiring a CM at this point of the process. It's always important to bring a construction manager into the process early on so that you can develop a team method, build a team approach between the owner, the architect, and the construction manager. I understand the drawings are right around the 60% mark at this time, so what we would propose with our estimating is do an initial review of the architect's current estimate, compare that to the budget, and make sure that we see things are falling within that budget. And as the pre-construction process follows, we would provide a detailed construction estimate at the 90 to 95% mark. And we would actually do a detailed estimate, like a contractor would be bidding that project. We do takeoffs, we'll do amount of carpet, we'll do amount of casework. We won't just do a square foot of the entire building, we'll do amount of plumbing fixtures. So we do a very detailed estimate to make sure that there hasn't been design creep as the design progresses. We want to make sure that the school district and the project is staying on budget. And we feel very confident with our estimating abilities. We just did 2 projects in the last three months that came in within 1% of the actual bids. So we're definitely confident with our estimating abilities, and we want to make sure that the district is getting the dollar value out of their buildings. So, next slide. Something that goes hand in hand with the estimates are value engineering. It's a little bit late in the process to do a full value engineering review. However, as we're doing estimates, if we see any materials or systems or equipment that we feel there might be other options out there, we can present that to the architect and the owner and just provide different options to choose from, and working closely with the architect that way. Next slide. And then one of the most important things I feel is constructability review. Of this nature of a project, this large of a project, high school addition renovation, there's always problems with trying to develop phasing, making sure the occupants can work around the building and you can shift the occupants without disturbing them greatly. You also have to look at staging areas. You have to look at where contractors are going to be coming into the building. So these are things that we feel a construction manager needs to play a key role in, because we're going to be the ones overseeing the construction. So we need to make sure we work closely with the occupants and the architect. So we feel this is definitely a key. One thing we do is a team approach on our side of it. We provide a project manager, 16 to 20 hours a week dedicated to the project. We also provide a full-time on-site manager. And this is when they'll be getting fully involved and making sure they're working through that. So, next slide. And then Phil mentioned our trademark service of RAPICEP, reviewing and proofing of specifications and plans. This is an additional service that we provide to many clients. We set a fee on a project to do a third-party review of the specifications and plans when they're 100% done or close to that. So just before bidding, we provide this service, And basically, we're looking to reduce the amount of change orders, RFIs, and claims on the project. And the selling point of this service is our savings, our fee is guaranteed. We guarantee to find the number of savings that's greater than our fee, or also our service is free. So, next slide. These next couple slides just reiterate what I'm talking about with the RAPISAP, and we can go into more detail with that later. But again, we aim to reduce the amount of change orders, RFIs. Everyone knows that RFIs during the construction process can take time, cause delays in the project, and end up as a claim at the end. So this process closes the gap. We utilize our in-house architects and engineers. We separate it from our project manager and our site manager, have a third party review it in-house to make sure we're picking up different aspects that could be potential change orders down the road. And here you may want to just compare it to what you consider constructability review, value engineering, or RAPISAP. Constructability review, as I mentioned, we aim to develop a phasing plan, review the plans, make sure the building can be constructed, look at staging. Value engineering, we look at different options to provide to the owner that can potentially save money and add value to the project. The RAPISAP is basically looking at it, a third-party review of it, trying to reduce change orders and RFIs. Next slide. And here's just a long list of different projects we've worked on with RAPISAP. You'll see projects anywhere from under $1 million up to $45 million on this list. We've saved anywhere from found anywhere from 625,000 in change orders just to under 100,000, I believe, is on there. For instance, one that I've worked on personally was Consolidated, Bancroft Elementary. We had it was a $25 million project. We found 200,000 in savings. Overall, they came in under 20,000 in change orders. So just shows examples of what we've done with RAPISAP. Next slide. Again, this is just.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
You say they came in 20,000 under in change orders?
Correct. It's right around the $20,000 mark. As a new building, so obviously with new building you have a little bit less of unforeseen conditions, but yeah, that project came in under $20,000 in change orders. Okay, next slide. And again, as I mentioned, this is a guaranteed service. Our fee that we would set for that service is guaranteed. If we don't find that number of change orders, the service is free. Okay, next slide. Okay, then comes into the most important part of the project, actual construction. As I mentioned, and I'll try and drive home as much as I can, the team approach with how we attack our projects. We feel that having a strong site manager on site full time, 40, 50 hours, however long the contractor's on site, he's going to be on site. We also have that project manager working hand in hand with them 16 to 20 hours a week. And basically what our goal is with that is they're working together as a team. Our project manager provides backup to our site manager. Our site manager wants to be in that field as much as he possibly can. He wants to be right next to the guys laying the block, ripping the walls down, doing everything to follow the specifications. This is where our quality comes into play. So then our project manager backs him up by doing scheduling. We feel it's a need to have the construction manager do the schedule, not let the general contractor do the schedule. If we're handling the schedule, we can update it. We can see where there's possible pitfalls and where there's possible delays in the project. If you allow the general contractor to do that, there's a possibility they can make it look like you want to. However, there could be things that flaws in the schedule. So we feel it's necessary for the CM to do that. And then job site safety. With an occupied building, it's very important to make sure all areas are safe, making sure proper barriers are put up, making sure you're making the building safe for the occupants. So, another thing we like to do, especially with occupied buildings, is turn into educational experience for the kids. They're going to see the construction going on as they're in the building, and we try and work with the administration and offer opportunities to the staff and students to show them how things are built and actually work into a geometry class and aspects like that. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, in closing, I'd just like to talk about a list we believe separates us from the other firms you're interviewing. We try to talk about our signature multiple prime approach. We are the only firm in Pennsylvania that does this. We are also the most experienced firm in Pennsylvania in the K-12 market. We were the first firm in Pennsylvania to build a high school using our multiple prime approach. That was in 1991. Central Valley High School, we used 21 separate prime contracts. The reason clients use this approach is, again, it guarantees the lowest possible construction costs because we run the project for you. We eliminate the general contractor. The way we did the work pays for our fee and gives you more savings. More importantly than that, by eliminating the general contractor, you're eliminating the shopping process. What that gives you, it gives you better quality construction. It gives you, increases the chances of opening the building on time because that shopping process takes a lot of time. And you also increase the chance of local tax-paying contractors to bid on your project that may not bid to a very large general contractor in Pittsburgh. We're, as I stated previously, we're pure agency construction manager. The majority of construction managers are in the K-12 market because of the economy in the education. We've been doing this for 25 years. We are not a general contractor. We have no connections to subcontractors. We've had billions of dollars of successful projects. When you hire FPCM, you get the resources of all of our other companies if needed. Many times during construction, we'll utilize our experts from the commissioning company or the roofing company to come down during construction and make sure that the project is being designed or being built as your architect has designed. RAPISAP is a guaranteed process that we do. Our fee for that is $80,000. You don't have to decide that yet. If we don't find $80,000 in change orders, and if your architect disagrees or you disagree and we cannot approve it, it is free. We believe our fee, by the way we utilize the process that we use, brings the most value for your dollar. And we believe we will be here. We have we believe at least the reputation of being here when you need us. And building the building is a difficult thing. You're embarking on a very difficult task. And lastly, it's something again that we're very proud of. There's a lot more to us than just trying to make money with our 6 for-profit companies. We give back to society the last 20 years with our Foreman Foundation, Melanoma Research Lab, Ocean Medicine. With that, we'll try to answer any questions that you have.
Meg said that, sorry, have you ever had to pay out on your guarantee?
No. On RAPISAP? No. Never.
Any other questions? Yes.
Yes, what percentage of your projects are finished on time?
All of them. For 25 years, we had one project that opened a day late. Because the inspector, it was Plum School District about 16 years ago, went approved emergency generators, so they opened a day late. Other than that, would you agree with that? All of our projects have opened on time.
What percentage of change orders average for all your projects?
Obviously, that depends upon the architect, and we work with most of the architects in Pennsylvania who do projects. It depends on the architect. Your architect is a very good architect. We've worked with him in the past. I would say, I don't know, what would you say as an average? That's hard to say because there's so many different architects.
Our goal is typically to keep it below 3%.
Okay. Do you normally achieve that goal?
Yes. And we're usually within the 1.5% to 2%, but the goal is to maintain it below 3%.
Okay, and who would be the full-time construction manager on site?
That would be
on site. We have 2 candidates proposed: Joe Pahanic and George Dickerson. George Dickerson just finished up a project at Lower Marion.
This one here, $100 million high school.
And then he's also working up with me now at Williamsport. He's finishing up in October. That's a $29 million middle school addition renovation. Or Joe Pahanic, he's been with our firm for 15 years now. He's actually military personnel. He's in Navy Reserve. So He's currently working out at the western part of the state, but both of them have been with our company for a number of years. And our project manager, we're proposing PK Horner. He's also worked on the Lower Marion projects, and he's been with the company over 18 years.
So you have the on-site 40, 50, whatever hours a week, and then you have a project manager.
Correct.
I think you said like
16
16 or 20
to
hours.
Right. And what happens typically during construction, he's working on the phone with the site manager and or the architect. During construction, he shows up to the board meeting once a month. You just turn the meeting over to BK, and he gives you a verbal presentation on how the project's going in terms of schedule, change orders, photographs, and then he gives you a written detailed report. So you just turn the meeting over to him to discuss the project, and he presents it to you. And at the end, BK's been with us for 18 years.
How would you assess our project? Complex, average, simple?
You're embarking on, we believe, that in the education market, it's one of the most difficult because, you know, you're renovating a building with children and staff, so you're dealing with a lot of issues. You're doing a partial renovation, so it's going to be difficult. We believe it'll be a very difficult project.
Any other questions? I have. We're eliminating general contract. What kind of litigation record do you have with all the other contractors? Now, we had a general contractor, and we had an awful litigation problem about who did what right and who did what wrong, and it went on for about 6 years. And I see this as an opportunity to have more conflict in construction.
It's actually the total opposite. A lot of people ask us that question. The problem you have with the general contractor approach is that typically the general contractor does not want you to talk to his subcontractors. The problem with the general contractor approach, and again what we call the traditional, it's not that all general contractors are bad, let me state that. But what happens is, number one, the subcontractors, and we have about 700 letters from subcontractors, they're not paid until usually 60 or 90 days. Now, when you have a general contractor who has perhaps a financial problem, he's not paying the subcontractors for 120 days. Then the subcontractor starts calling the architect up or the school district saying, where's the money? And the general contractor's saying, you know, don't worry about it, I'll get it to you. And by the time you realize that it's way too late, you have a huge, massive delay claim, millions of dollars. Because the process itself is set up to fail because the general contractor is not paying the subcontractors for 60 or 90 days. When the general contractor has a financial problem, because usually the general contractor is the low bidder because he forgot something. So he's starting off with a big problem. So we see that as a huge problem in that approach. Whereas our approach, we've been doing it for 25 years, we see immediately when there's a person delay, when we walk out on the job site, when our site manager's there, Joe Pahani or George Dickerson, he sees that, hey, there should be 35 masons here. Why are there only 12? He calls the owner of the masons up and said, where is everybody? And, you know, they have a frank conversation, hey, I got a little bit of a money problem, blah, blah, blah. Whereas with a general contractor, the clerk of the works would go to the general contractor and say, where are the masons? And he would say, I don't know where they are, or something like that. That's a huge problem that we've seen over the last.
Okay, well, the problem I was talking about is the water temperature going into the cooling system was wrong, and this was wrong, and it wasn't my fault, it was your fault, it was her fault, and I see that as an opportunity right now.
One thing, the way we control what contractor owns each portion of the project is with a summary of work based on the specification section. So every piece of equipment, material that's specified, we delineate by spec section who owns that particular part of the work. So we can go back to that summary of work and determine who installed this, who installed that, and they're the ones ultimately responsible for it.
All right, thank you. Now, my next question is, you indicated that you may have a contract providing windows, and I assume you're going to have a contract laying brick, you're going to have Who coordinates that?
We do, that's part of our service. We, with the multiple prime approach, we work with the district holds the contracts with each one of those prime contracts. That gives the ability to process their pay applications, have the bonding for each of those prime contracts. So you can hold them more responsible because they're a prime contract than if they would be working for the general contractor. So you have more control over each one of those prime contracts that way. If you're relying on the general contractor, as Phil mentioned, you go to the general contractor, complain about the window contractor, it takes a 3 or 4 step process. If you hold a contract directly with them, we can go directly to them.
Okay. With the individual contracts, does that have any effect on the minimum wage?
And it's still a prevailing wage project.
Is it still a prevailing wage project?
Yes.
Okay, that hasn't changed.
Correct.
Next item, student safety.
Yes. That's, I'm sorry.
How you handle something like that?
It's a very important process with a building that's occupied. We will, if hired, we'll meet directly with the architects, with the occupants of the building, develop a phasing plan that can be barriered off, make sure the barriers are actually built into the contract. We can show where the barriers need to be, making sure everything's secured. We'll set up a security program with the contractors. Obviously, everyone working in the school needs their clearances. We'll set up a badging system that every worker needs to have a badge after they provide their clearances. We'll provide gated access to the site and the staging area. Obviously, all that has to be worked out with each phase and where the work's taking place.
Before we even go out to bid, we're gonna have all the phasing worked out. Your staff's gonna know, you're gonna know, we're gonna work with the architect, have that in the drawings and specs.
Okay,
So
one
even
more,
before we go out to bid, you're
one
gonna know.
more item. In your closing comment, you made some comment about $80,000. Is that in addition to the bid you've given us, or is that included in the bid?
That's an addition.
That's for the-
You don't have to decide that now, you can decide that.
In other words, this could be up $80,000 more.
Correct.
Okay,
If you decide to do it, but it's also
Yeah, all right.
guaranteed.
okay.
That's the wrap service.
I just wanted
Correct.
to know. Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, just curious, you said this Foreman was one of 7 companies that you,
Foreman Construction
Operate.
Management is one of 7 companies that we have.
are the others all in the same basic field, or they're in different?
They're all in education, higher education, K-12. Our architectural engineering firm's been in business for 60 years, the construction management company 25, commissioning company 7 years, roofing company 7 years, Rapid-Sap 10 years, the construction claim service 3 years, and the Foreman Foundation 20 years.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Yes.
You may have already answered it tonight. That's a lot.
You've been through 5 of these, so I'm sure.
Yeah, it's true.
Have you worked with the I Associates before?
Yes.
With what?
EI.
Oh,
Yes.
any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll do short break.
Need a short break?